Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you are going to be listening to, it was sent to me by one of our admins, and the message reads like this. Good morning, Brother Nashi. Please post for me and remember to keep me anonymous. I got married to the breadwinner of the family, the only son. Upon my arrival in the homestead, I came to the realization that I had fallen into a hyena's mouth. It made sense why Sam had married about 3 times and got divorced 3 times as well. Sam had told me he did not understand why all of his ex-wives had left him like that, as he seemed to have done everything right. Sam and we met at a business seminar. A local non-governmental organization was hosting a seminar, and I was part of those ones that were attending that business seminar. Sam was one of the keynote speakers who addressed the role of small and medium enterprises in a growing South African economy. There was a spark between us, and we had exchanged our numbers, and we then started talking because he seemed to be a smart guy, an intelligent one too. We talked about almost anything, and we never got bored with each other. I found his sarcasm amusing, and he was like an open book. I had asked him if he was married, and he told me that he was a divorcee. And when he told me that he was a divorcee, it felt like he wanted to cry. I saw that he was really sad, and I felt sad for him. And maybe that is the reason why I had fallen in love with him, because of the sadness that I saw written all over his face. In fact, he had been married 3 times. Out of the 3 marriages, not one of them had survived, and he had been divorced 3 times. I found that quite alarming. I quizzed him what had gone wrong, and he seemed to have no idea at all. I asked him if he ever asked any of his ex-wives what went wrong, and he told me that he had tried, but nobody was giving him a straight answer, nothing that he could make sense of. I found him to be a sweet soul, and before I knew it, we were head over heels. He had said that I was his last chance at love. If the marriage fails again, he would throw in the towel. So he said maybe love was never meant for me. Maybe I was just born to suffer. Maybe he was just unlucky in love. That is what I thought when he was speaking with me. Maybe he was meant to be lonely and unhappy. I had reprimanded him strongly and told him to never underestimate the power of the tongue. So I told him to always speak positively. He should start have positive affirmations. Sam and I had a shotgun wedding, and I went to stay with his mother. The first night we consummated the marriage was the start of my problems. There were things in the ceilings, on the floor, things that I could hear but not see. At one point, they sounded as if they were like cats. At one point, like an owl. And I swear that I even had a hissing sound, like there was a snake that was trapped there in that ceiling. It seemed like someone was walking in our room. I held my breath, wanting to know if I had heard well. Yes, there were actually footsteps. I could hear them clearly. The footsteps were coming nearer and nearer with each and every breath that I would take. The footsteps came to where I was sleeping and stopped. They suddenly stopped. I lit the lamp, but it was turned off by something that I could not see. The footsteps left my side and went to where Sam was sleeping and then left. It's like whatever it is was never there. I tried waking up Sam, but he was deep in sleep. After the footsteps left, I hardly slept until dawn. Even if I wanted to explain what had transpired to Sam, he would never believe me. It seems as if that he knew what was going on. How do you explain that there was someone, or rather something, in the room that I had not seen? I thought that honestly I was losing my mind. How do I explain that we had company the previous night, but how I knew that Sam would brush it off as me reading too many novels, but I knew what I knew, and I had heard what I had heard. All of this was strange. It was really strange, very strange. I decided to keep the information to myself. Still, I was still a newlywed. How do you explain to your in-laws that you had and seen something? What if they'll misinterpret the whole thing and then they'll start to accuse you of witchcraft? As year passed and we were blessed with a baby boy, we were besides ourselves with joy. The strange things continued to happen, and I still do not know how to break this news to Sam. When my son had turned 1 year old, we decided to throw him a birthday party. I went to take a bath and I left my boy sleeping peacefully in his cot bed. When I came back, he was no longer in his cot bed. Where had he gone to? I had locked my bedroom door when I had gone to take a bath, and I am certain that nobody had came in. So where was my baby? I searched for him everywhere, but my baby was nowhere to be seen. I even went and I reported the case to the police station, and even though a search was conducted, nothing ever materialized. My baby had vanished without a trace. I cried a river for my son. How was it even possible that a child would disappear with rooms that were locked? But what made everything even stranger was that no one had seen or even heard anything in a compound that was full of everyone. As for my husband, he tried to console me. I could not bring myself to accept such news. The disappearance of my boy even made it to the local newspapers, and messages had poured in left, right, and center. People had came to see me offering prayers. A year passed after his disappearance, and I held on to the belief that one day I was going to find my boy. My church mates had come to congregate with me and decided to hold a prayer at our compound. My in-laws had been dead set against the idea, saying that I should accept that my boy was gone, that it was time for me to move on. How do you move on from being a mother before you went to birth and coming back and you find out that your boy is no longer there? My husband had reasoned with his parents that maybe the all-night prayer was all that we needed. I needed to be around people who understood me and where I was going. An argument had ensued and my in-laws had thrown in the towel. Did they know something? Did they know about the strange things that used to happen at night? After the prayer vigil was done, I decided to go to the grain hut, to the granary, to look for some grains to cook for the church people before they would have dispersed. Let me take you back a little bit. When I had came into the Sam's family, I was told not to go to the granary. It was the responsibility of either father or mother to take the grains out. They will be shared for us to cook, but mother had not been around for the past 2 days. They had gone to visit their relatives, so I had no option than to open the granary. What I found there, I just screamed, felt dizzy, and I think that I passed out. When I woke up, I was woken up by my church mates. They had gathered around me and I was wet. I think that someone had poured water on me. My son, who had disappeared, was in the grain hut, totally unrecognizable. He had hairs all over his body and his skin was pale, I think from the lack of sunshine. So all this while that I had grieved from my son, father and mother knew where my son was, using him for their juju. Why my son? Why my innocent child? In the granary, there were a lot of sort of strange things, from short boys and short girls that made them to be very rich, to owls, and I think some things that were not from this world. The bishop rounded them all up and set them on fire. Mother and father came back and they were very furious. They shouted that I had been disobedient and exposed their secrets, and chased me from their home. I took my son, but my son did not make it. He died 3 days later, I was sad for him. Yes, sad for him. But what gave me consolation from all of this was that mother and father will not be using him for their juju and their evil deeds. He is at peace now. Yes, now I know. I later heard that mother and father had gone mad. They are now roaming the streets and eating from the dustbins. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was forwarded to me by one of our admins. Strange things do happen in this world. Just imagine your baby goes missing. Then you find out that your baby that has gone missing, the police had been searching for him. The baby was locked up in that other house that she said that they used to keep the grains inside that room where no one was allowed to enter. All of these things, in-laws were doing it so that they can be wealthy. Strange things do happen in this world.